is that people do not trust any of this propaganda onslaught, the things that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. I mean, it's insane. It's a very well-oiled machine, right? What we do have in our favor is that people do not trust any of this stuff anymore. At this point in the game, people know that they're being propagandized.
That's right.
So I think that a lot of people on this Zoom have the opportunity to reach out to people directly that are either done with the propaganda, and also, by the way, are never going to follow any of, you know, these Trump people, right? Are never really going to listen to anything that they're saying. So I would have, I think, have some faith in our messaging and in the people that you can reach.
Then just imagine what kind of harm she is going to do to Black people,
right,
with the power that she will have and the control that she will have in her hand. She would destroy us. When you look at that video that's out there, and that woman said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do anything for Black people." Did you see that look on her face?
Yeah.
She said that with sincerity from the bottom of her heart. So I don't know, when people tell you who they are, believe them. The lady already said that out of her mouth, that she don't have no intentions of doing nothing for the Black community. So
he said that we're not going to listen to any of those Trump people. Is that what he said too? I don't think that's what he said in the very beginning. Is that we're not going to listen to any of those Trump people either.
I guess he was saying who
you listening to? That's my question.
I guess he's trying to play the neutral part, but he's saying we're not going to be swayed and pandered to.
No, that ain't no.
But, I mean, it's okay to listen to somebody, but then in rubber meets the road, you're going to either make a choice or you're going to sit back.
Yeah, forget that neutral. Pick a side.
I don't trust people that say on the neutral side. Be honest with you, because I feel like the people on the neutral side going to be the ones that say, yeah, let me just go ahead and vote for Harris, even though I think those people would want a cheap vote.
You could have voted.
We as Black people need to stop being loyal to people that are not going to be loyal to us.
You know, everything she touched is dangerous, and people got to realize this election is very crucial to people to understand what she's all about. She's not about nobody but herself and the party, and she's not in charge.
No. Where Democrat policies just really haven't been too beneficial for Black Americans. You know, prior to the 1960 civil rights movement, which was shifted. So JFK Jr. actually had a civil rights proposition that was a lot better than what LBJ had presented. He actually altered it after the death of JFK Jr. But prior to the civil rights implementation, we actually had a higher participation rate in the workforce. I think we had higher birth rates, and we also had a higher marriage rate than I think of the white counterparts. And it's crazy when you also look at the people that were destroying our cities. When you think of Black Wall Street, it was a bombing that was ordered by the National Guard, but the governor, James B.A. Robertson, was a Democrat that ordered the bombing up in Oklahoma. So their policies really haven't benefited us all the way back from the past to right now. It's just my opinion. I think if we ever endorse anything that's liberal, it leads to our destruction. Hip-hop itself is pretty liberal. I wouldn't say hip-hop is really conservative. Might have some conservative aspects to it, but for the most part, it pushes out liberal agendas, and that doesn't really serve us well as, either.
Yeah, I can tell you, we got to stand up and we got to fight. We got to push it back. And this is why you see me on social media. I drag their ass, because I care absolutely nothing about evil. I care nothing about my professionalism. I have 2 college degrees. I don't give a damn about those degrees.
Come on, brother.
If you're going to get in the gutter, I'm going to get in the gutter with your ass. So you have got to fight. You can't be nice to demons. You can't be nice.
Right.
You have got to push back and destroy these people where they stand. And this is what I do on a daily basis. Somebody, oh, you too rough. No, I'm not rough enough. Because if I was, then the evil wouldn't be out there.
Right. I care about this. So vote for me. And in 10 years, they're the ones that got the pink hair and the blue hair and the weird makeup and et cetera, because this is that's how they've been taught. And the Democrats literally basically brainwashed them into feeling like they support that because they create it.
She is disingenuous. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't like us. I'm just gonna say it. She doesn't like us. She is Indian and Jamaican. She is constantly riding on the backs of Black people who have helped to build this great nation. And I want the nation saved. I don't care about identity politics. I don't vote race or gender. I vote policies. And hers, she doesn't have any. But if she did, they'd be disastrous. She's already told you what she would do. She will support illegals, and it will be Black votes. Go on, get to the back of the bus.
That's right. Again.
Once she has what she wants, the door shuts. No more Black church visits.
Oh yeah.
No more Essence Awards.
Yeah, all that's over.
Yeah, no more money for HBCUs.
Guarantee she ain't going back to no. She ain't going none of that no more.
It's all an act. And people need to wake up. This is about protecting this country. Do you not understand? We don't have another chance if she gets her grimy little hands on the keys to this nation.
That's right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
She gonna look. Hold on, I go.
Okay, but why you doing that? Why you putting up? That's what I told you. I said people are not falling for the okie doke, and you got 72,000 people right there. So I told you, people are not falling for the okie doke.
That's just only the people that we know that we think in that this little microcosm of this how everybody thinking, but it's not.
I just after they saw them trying to take down Trump, people's eyes were all the way wide open.
Yeah,
those who were, you still got the other folks that's blind walking their head with sunglasses on, like they can't say. But anyway,
purposely because they don't want to see it. But I like what she said too. She said that soon as Kamala gets what she wants. Do you think she going to be, in the words of Quavo, you think all that stuff is going to be over?
Deuces. Yep.
She ain't going to be stunning y'all until something goes crazy and she need Black support. Don't be ignorant, Black people. Stop being ignorant. Stop being ignorant. Pay attention.
I cannot.
Step away from your feelings. Step away from focusing on in the back of your mind. Step away from focusing on civil rights and slavery and look at what 2024 has to offer.
Oh, she a woman. She a Black woman.
We were slaves and we were civil rights. The white man.
What does that mean?
Cut all that because this is what goes in people's minds when they think about voting. I'm gonna play this clip, y'all.
XM Patriot Radio, and Anton Daniels, YouTuber and content creator.
Let's go, Anton.
Let's start with you. You just went viral for an exchange that you had with a Kamala supporter. Let's watch.
Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna just be real honest with this. She's a Black woman.
Only because she's a Black woman?
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
We're in 3 proxy wars.
She
failed at the border. She has no policy, no record to stand on.
Okay, Anton, first of all, I think I forwarded that to 20 of my friends. That was such an awesome takedown. Right. But tell us about that, because I saw some of the other participants like nervously drinking their Coke or whatever they were drinking. But tell us about your interactions with people who happen to be African American who instinctively seem to go for Kamala because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. I think it's unfortunate because the majority of my interactions is me being looked at as the bad guy, because ultimately they think that I'm supposed to be on code, even though I know and they know that it's not in our best interest, in my family's best interest, in the country's best interest. And when we continue to play identity politics.
Does Anton have a yarmulke on, or is that just a highlight glowing off his head?
Yeah, he don't have that on his head, honey.
Okay.
The thing that they usually refer to is our previous history in electing people in office that ultimately even they will concede that they didn't have our best interests at heart. And so when I'm interacting with these people, often at times it's very difficult for them to step outside of being on code in order to do the thing that's even in their best interest. So I'm often looked at as a bad guy, but in reality, they know I'm telling the truth, and that's why it's so difficult for them to be able to convey and then debate what it is that I'm telling them, because they already know what the truth is.
Exactly.
They're not unfamiliar with what it is that they experienced over the last 3.5 years.
Right.
They're suffering. They don't have jobs. They have lower wages. They can't pay their bills. And so when they experience this, but it's very difficult for us as a community to then break away from the popular thing to do because they don't want to be a part of the cool kids club anymore.
Well, Stacey, I have to say that seems to sum it up. It's reflexive, and it takes a lot of courage. You know that. Of course, Anton knows that. I clerk for Justice Thomas. I mean, they're still beating him up all these years later. So it's a tough place to be, but it's factually the right place to be. So, Stacey, how do you handle this? And by the way, Kamala Harris behind in Georgia in the swing state poll average, I think by 4 points, 5 points, 6 points. So she's speaking in Atlanta. Lots of Kamala signs behind her. One white dude behind her. I see him. Stacey, thoughts on this?
You know, Laura, I think Anton hit the nail on the head. This is about policy, and no one, I don't care who you are, if you're a white woman, a black woman, it doesn't matter what your skin is. What matters is, how do these policies impact you? How does the policy of open borders and giving jobs to foreigners instead of Americans impact your bottom line? How does the double-digit inflation, which stacks up month after month, is cumulative, impact your bottom line? Can you still save money? Can you take a vacation? Can you buy that home? Can you upgrade? Can you move out of an apartment into a house? These are very real impacts. Anton described them well. And I think when I find people that only want me to address my life as if I get up every morning and say, what am I going to do today because I'm black? They don't understand me. I'm a human being. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm just somebody's mom on the radio. I'm just somebody's mom on Laura Ingraham tonight for the first time. Thank you. But I'm sitting here listening to Anton. He makes sense. And what makes sense to me is what the policy is, you know?
Well, okay, these are facts, okay? And into the image making of Kamala, even the New York Times today, and forgive me for not having the direct quote, but the New York Times today had to write a piece about Kamala's biographical transformation. And there was a piece about how her father, who's of Jamaican descent, he was a Marxist economist at Stanford, socialist Marxist economist at Stanford. He's still alive. Very controversial, but you know, he's a tenured professor at Stanford University. That she never really talked much about him, that he's kind of a footnote in her biography. But then she leans into it, Anton, and President Trump spoke about this with me. She leans into it, I guess, for her political benefit.
Absolutely. And I think that identity politics is the play. When you don't have anything else to lean on, when you spent the majority of the time being absent, and then on top of that, you then advocated for being part of the alphabet community, which I call them, and then you failed at the border to the tune of the estimation of 10 to 15 million migrants coming into this country illegally. What else do you have to stand on? So then you start to lean on the thing that even black people, honestly, when I'm having these conversations, black people don't even consider her a part of the cool kids club, but they have to lean on it in order to have something to even be able to hold on to instead of just saying, hey, listen, Trump is the best candidate. They want to say that I want to be a part of the Democratic Party. So they figure out a way to validate themselves to be a part of this movement, which is not even best for them. It's silly.
Thank you. That's right.
Stacey, a friend of mine who went to law school with me, just messaged me. We were told from the beginning that they couldn't argue the issues. And they know that Trump is better on the economy, better on defending our interests, better on the border, stopping illegal immigration. He won't drag us into war. So all they do is revert back to the childish games as we saw with the white dudes for Kamala. I mean, how pathetic is that? It's almost like
they're proud.
I thought actually a conservative must have proud.
Looking like Gavin Newsom.
Zoom was created by a conservative because it was so repulsive. But it was so funny. I think in one of the people speaking, I think a lot of the mail-in ballots were hidden. But it's a very strange. They think that helps them.
Yeah, they do. But I think, there are people in America whose incomes are such that these double-digit inflationary impacts don't really mean anything to them. They're insulated from the policy decisions they make in the ballot box. But for most Americans, that's not the case. And even if you are wealthy, if you care about your bottom line, if you're actually very frugal and you pay attention to your money, you don't want to see double-digit inflation. You don't want to see America sending $200 billion to Ukraine. You don't want to see boots on the ground, our own children spilling our blood and treasure abroad for something that we really have no interest in. And you really want to see some cogent domestic policy that prioritizes some of our very serious issues that we had, even coming out of the pandemic: homelessness, mental health crisis, health care. There are some things we need to do.
I know, but Stacey, you're dealing in the realm of facts. When you actually see interviews, when people are pushed on this who are refusing to think differently, they'll say stuff like, well, but he's not going to be good on equity. right, Anton? Equity. He's going to disembowel equity. And what I say to folks is, how is equity? How's all the equity of the last 3.5 years worked out for your community?
Right.
Illegal immigrants using your schools?
It's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely horrible, and it's so funny because, you know, I've been seeing this whole movement, right, where they first leverage sororities and fraternities as far as the Divine Nine to try to include them in order to try to get her to be obviously presidential. I don't think that it's working because everybody that's in my community and the people that I speak with, especially black men, are even disappointed in white men in that why would you then follow white women who are extreme feminists and then let them follow black women in order to try to be a part of this cool kids club?
Oh my God.
When you can't stand on policy and you can't stand on real things that's going to help everyday Americans, especially those that are in these Democratic hellholes that are suffering the most.
Let's go.
Stacey
New York.
and Anton, fantastic first appearances on the Ingram Angle. Love having you on. And I'm going to try to get the man bun guy on the show. Okay, we'll see if he can actually step into the ring. I won't hold my breath, but the white dude Zoom call will keep me laughing for a long time.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Yo, come on, man.
Okay, but
come
I mean, that was really good. I like how they both responded because they were definitely in sync with one another. And I mean, it's just like I said. I had told Brian, I said, watch, you don't have as many people as you think that's really supporting her, especially from the black community, because we have awakened. We already been over here woke, but I'm just saying, as a community, they're waking up. You still got a small little fraction that want to seem like it's a lot of them who are supporting her. But if all they got to stand on is civil rights, she black,
abortion,
first black woman president,
and ABCDFG group.
Child, please. I mean, but I'm not even hearing those. I'm hearing that she's black and she's a woman. Those are the two most that I hear from people who say they want to support her on social media. And I'm like, that can't be your reason. That can't be your reason. Do you know the whole, I mean, the weight of our country lies on this person's role significantly. He got a team, but he's still the head player. So you mean to tell me she is going to be the head player for this country? Boy, please. No.
And what I don't understand is,
I'm just going to get on that Zoom.
I know. How do you get on that?
I know. How did you hear about that? Where they find that at?
So what I don't understand is, and I heard this conversation, they said she will go in there and she'll be like, when I become president, I'm going to, she said, I'll do this, and then everybody was like, ma'am, you're vice president. Oh, you right now could just like go to Joe Biden and tell them to put this in place. So why are you talking like when I become president, when you're vice president right now? It's not like you're in the running seat and you're not in any kind of position. They're like, ma'am, you could do this now. They'd be like, this is stupid. You could tell Joe to put this in place.
But why would she do something? Why would she go and do something that she was capable of doing when she's already in office and she ain't even doing what she should be doing, what her role is? How about that? Rewind that back. I mean, come on. You think she's going to actually do something she could do when she actually ain't doing what she's supposed to be doing? No.
In the words of Quavo, I walk it like I talk it.
Walk it like I talk it. Come on, please. I just said, oh my gosh.
Child, get out of here, man.
What a waste of time.
Come on, watch out.
Well,
watch out.
Doing the homework and the research, guys, but this is just really more. I mean, learning more. So I have got to add to my task list for research is foreign policy and really just tap in a little bit more. I'm clear on many of the policies that Trump is supporting and what he's doing, and even now looking into some other things that I've been hearing. But we have to continue to read, investigate, read, listen, read, and discern. Read, listen, do your research, and come to a fair conclusion with all of the facts, with many of the facts here that support one another.
Leave the emotion out of it.
Come on, great people. Use your senses. That's why you have the eyes, nose, ears, what touch, taste, feel, think, and what's the other one? See. These are your senses, are the things that we use to be able to make observations and say this is a fact. Plus, you got all the research. Come on, you can see this.
Y'all listen.
I don't want to go no rant.
I agree on this. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I know it's always the thinking of this is the most important election, every election, but this is extremely important election.
I feel like this is it. This is it. we didn't realize how important the other elections were. But to me, this is truly a matter of life or death. It really is.
The passage of time. When we think about the passage of time, we think about the time in this passage. All right, man. 2024, be more.
Talk less.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.